What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is a property that we're hoping to graze. So never had cows before, and I definitely want to get into it. Been reading about it, studying it, trying to learn it. This gentleman here has 8 acres, older guy, a widower, so he's here by himself. He's got an older John Deere. It's got a 0-turn, and then he's got a smaller Gator right here. All the little chainsaws, all the things you'd need, and we're doing some tree work here on paddock 3. Got a burn pit going on back there. We're gonna take the ash, biochar, we're gonna put it out. We're gonna activate it through soaking it down. We've got a hose out there on it. So at the end of the day today, we'll have all that stuff completed. But this is something that I'm finding exists everywhere, and the reason that I mention it is the average age of the American farmer. This is not an active farm, but it was previously when his wife was alive. Had horses, so it's more of what they would call a open use estate. That's what it's zoned. And but it's got all the right infrastructure in it. We've got some boards and stuff like that, old trees that we're removing here. But what's interesting about this is that the average age of the American farmer, so I guess the average American farmer age, or however you want to look at that, median age, is 61 years of age as of today. This is spring 2024. So 61 years of age, that's Joel Salatin's numbers, and you can get that through Department of Agriculture and things like that. So that means over the next 10 years, 50% of all U.S. agriculture assets are changing hands. It's just what's happening. Here's another property we just did a couple weeks ago. We did a video on that. And that's 10 acres, kind of the same deal. They used to have cows on it. Gentleman is actually a widower as well. He's up in his 70s. He lives there. He's got his grandkids that live there. And, he doesn't want to mow it. So he's like, yeah, you can graze it. You can farm it. You can do whatever you want to do with it. And I think it's really interesting because this is going to be a huge opportunity because Salatin's numbers, he's like, look, there's never been, as far as agricultural resources go, there's never been a 50% changership or 50% change in ownership, absent of like conquests, like war takeover, like the Romans show up and assets change hands. And all of these things, all of these properties, these 2 properties in particular, at some point here this decade, they're going up for sale. These gentlemen are like, they're at the spot where if we just take over it, take over the pasture, we can have access to it. And this is going to happen absolutely everywhere. And at any given point in time, there's 10,000 boomers a day retiring in 2024. 22% of them own small businesses. Their children want nothing to do with them. So, they all want to chase like becoming a YouTube star, and they don't want, dad's plumbing company with 7 vans, and so all of these things are occurring, but in agriculture, it's off the scales. It's never been this huge. So I put that out because obviously I have a bent towards that. It's in like my trifecta of things that I like. It's within my skill set, it's within my interests, and there's market opportunity. I think it's still early, so it's not like farms are changing hands right and left. But one thing I'm thinking through is like, okay, how do we farm? How do we scale that? How do I get individuals involved in helping us with that? And then the mergers and acquisitions is probably going to be where like the real cash comes about, is like if all these assets are changing hands, and I'm talking tractors, right? I'm talking land, combines, all those things, all the implements, all those old assets are changing hands. That's a really interesting equation because there was one way that we've done agriculture in the U.S. for a long time. It's clearly not working. Cattle prices are the highest that they've ever been. We've as of today, this is spring 24, there are less cows in America than 1950. So it's like beef prices are up. Texas is caught fire. 1/3 of all the grazing land they're reporting has been burned up. For the spring season. So that's going to keep elevating prices. But like, it's clear that we have an issue in our food supply system. Like we're getting food from Peru, we're getting it from Ecuador. It says organic bananas on Chiquita, but Chiquita just had a big lawsuit where they got in trouble for essentially embezzling drugs for X amount of years, which kind of makes sense, right? But like, what's actually, like, you know, they're picking these things green. You get them in the grocery store, they're green, they're not ripe. There's lots of weird things happening in the food supply, and what we've done is we've just outsourced it. We're like, oh, well, we'll just export dollars and we'll import goods from other countries, and it's organic, but like according to whose standards? You know, and I would argue that organic is fake. Like, organic is just a marketing gimmick. Like, what you actually want is regenerative. Like, what you really want is you want a pasture that looks like this. This one's in rough shape. Like, these horses did a number on it. That's why we've got the opportunity to take over and just steward it right. So I'm like, yo, I'm looking at a bull tonight. I'm like, yeah, can I like, you know, get going? He's like, yeah, go ahead, man. I don't want to mow this place. And so it's like, these opportunities are here. I put that out because you guys will watch here as we start out our journey here. And I've been doing this for 5 years now, but in the food forest, the permaculture, and landscaping stuff. But big opportunities. I don't know what's gonna materialize there. I just think that if and I am a younger guy, but if I'm even younger, like, and I know that 50% of assets in one of the largest industries is about to change hands in the next 10 years. And all these people, like, there's more people getting out than there are people coming in. So prices will be suppressed. And honestly, a lot of them, you could probably just negotiate your way in. You got a buddy, his family has a 2,000 acre farm in Michigan. None of the kids are involved in running it. I would almost guarantee if you went to his father and you're like, mentor me, I want to run this place, I want to take over, he'd probably set you up with a deal to make that happen. And so, and that's true for any of these boomer businesses. Any of these guys that are retiring and their kids don't want it. Like, you know, guy with 7 plumbing vans is doing like $4 million a year and netting, like, you know, he's bringing home like 500 to 800, and his kids are like, oh, I don't want to have anything to do with that. I almost bet you could go work for the guy for 6 figures and negotiate something and buy the business for like $2 million and pay it off over 10 years using his own profits from his own company to pay for it. And this isn't going to stop. This is going to continue for the next 10 years. So, food for thought. See you guys on the next one.